My daughter barely spoke for years. Then at her 5th birthday party she told the truth that destroyed my sister's marriage, silenced every whisper about her being slow, and reminded everyone that quiet doesn't mean weak. My daughter Hazel stood at her 5th birthday party, tapping her plastic princess fork against her juice cup. The metallic clicking sound cut through the afternoon chatter like a tiny bell demanding attention. 20 faces turned toward her as she pushed back her chair and climbed onto it, her purple tulle dress spreading around her small frame like flower petals. "I want to tell everyone something special," she announced, her voice carrying across the backyard with surprising clarity. My sister Roxanne laughed from across the picnic table, her wine glass catching the sunlight. She exchanged amused glances with our mother Dorothy before turning back to Hazel with that condescending smile I knew too well. "This should be good. Remember when her first word was mama at 18 months? We all thought she'd be slow like her mother never could keep up in school either." The casual cruelty of her words made my stomach tighten. But before I could intervene, Hazel straightened her shoulders and looked directly at her aunt. Her green eyes held a focus that seemed impossible for a 5-year-old. "Aunt Roxanne, I know what you did with Mr. Brennan from next door." The entire backyard seemed to freeze. Someone's fork clattered onto a paper plate. My brother-in-law, Victor, who'd been laughing at something my father, Gerald, had said, turned slowly toward his wife. Hazel continued, her small voice now the only sound in the yard. "I heard you on the phone when you thought I was napping. You told him you love him. You said Uncle Victor bores you. You said you only stay for the money in the house." Roxanne's face transformed from smug amusement to pure horror in the span of 3 seconds. Her perfectly manicured hand trembled as she sat down her wine glass, missing the table edge. The glass shattered on the concrete patio, red wine spreading like blood. "That's ridiculous." Roxanne's voice came out as a shriek. "She's making things up. Children have wild imaginations. Victor, you can't possibly believe a 5-year-old who barely even talks most of the time." But Hazel wasn't finished. She stood steadier on her chair like a tiny prosecutor delivering closing arguments. "Last Tuesday, you told Mr. Brennan you wished Uncle Victor would just disappear. You were crying in his blue truck behind the grocery store. I saw you when Mommy and I went shopping. You were kissing him." The backyard erupted. My mother gasped and covered her mouth. My father stood up so fast his lawn chair tipped backward. Victor's face had gone from confusion to a dangerous shade of red. Roxanne knocked over the entire punch bowl in her desperation to stand. Pink liquid cascading across the white tablecloth and onto the grass. "Victor, please let me explain." She reached for her husband, but he stepped back like her touch might burn him. "Explain what? That my 5-year-old niece knows more about my marriage than I do?" His voice was deadly quiet, worse than if he'd screamed. Roxanne's perfectly composed face crumbled. Mascara streaked down her cheeks as she stumbled toward the house, her high heels catching in the grass. "This isn't happening.